Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. I hope you are having a fantastic day so far. My day is going pretty awesome. I woke up at 5 o'clock this morning, went for my second run in a row yesterday and today. My legs are absolutely shot, but I tell you what, I loved it. I have no idea why I stopped running. I feel amazing after a good run. I'm wide awake. My energy levels are really high, and yeah, I just feel so good. I don't know why I stopped. The kids didn't join me today. They were fast asleep, and then Leia's actually just come up about 5 minutes ago and said to me, "Dad, my legs are killing me." So I said to her, just have a break today, relax, and we'll go for another run tomorrow. Kat, my missus, on the other hand, she said, I want to start running as well. Can we go for a run this afternoon? So I might have to go for a second one, but it's not going to be 5Ks. Not a sausage. Might just be around the block, but I figured that'll be a lovely couples activity to do. Anyway, oh yeah, before we start, I want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for all the birthday wishes and emails and Instagram DMs and everything from yesterday. Thank you so much. It really means the world to me. You guys absolutely made my day. It was freaking so unexpected, but so awesome. So thank you so much. Anyway, today we are reacting to the top 10 best homesteading states in America. And that is because I am so envious and jealous of some of the videos I see where people have started their little homesteads over there. And I've subscribed to loads of them on my private YouTube account that I've had for many years. I've got so many subscriptions. There's people in Alabama, Cog Hill Farm. I love their video. Life Uncontained. It's about a couple who've built their dream house out of shipping containers. I love those as well. I'll stick them down in the description if you want as well. You can check them out. They are awesome. So I'm really interested in seeing this video because I think it's the kind of lifestyle I've dreamed about having this kind of lifestyle my whole life, and I don't think it's ever going to happen because the prices here in Europe are actually outrageously expensive at the moment, and I'll just never be able to afford it realistically. So it's something a man can dream. So I'm really interested in seeing this video because this is the sort of stuff I really love. Anyway, without further ado, let's check out the top 10 best homesteading states in America.
Have you ever thought about making a life off the grid? If so,
Yes,
it's probably a good idea to know what states are the best for that type of life. What is going on, everyone? Let's take a look at 10 of the best states for homesteading. Homesteading is a lifestyle committed to self-sufficiency. Homesteaders like to grow their own food, raise their own food, whatever you want to do. They provide their own electricity.
I should point out that I have got quite a big garden here. It's just not big enough for what I want. I've got some chickens and some rabbits. I did have geese and ducks and all sorts as well, but we had to get rid of them because we had neighbors moaning and geese crap everywhere. If I was to be able to afford a place now, it would have to have a pond, at least. A pond or a lake, so I could go fishing and just build a little dock there and spend most of my... I love being by the water, and yeah, I sit down and I plan it all out all the time. I'm a bit weird like that, but yeah, it is a dream of mine.
Electricity through renewable sources like solar and wind, and sometimes they go all the way and actually make the textiles and their own clothing. Yeah, you know, nothing gets my motor running like a lady in a grass skirt and a burlap bra. There's a million and one reasons people prefer this type of life. Most of the time these days, it's taken up by people wanting to lessen their carbon footprint. You know, they want to save the planet, go green, all that good stuff. But there are a lot...
Mine's more to just get away from cities and people. Like, I'm happy away from that sort of thing.
A lot of things to take into consideration before making the jump off the grid. You got to figure out land prices. Is the land good for farming? Homesteading laws, or do they even allow homesteading in this state? You got to worry about the climate, water accessibility, and how's the community going to react to you homesteading and living like this? This list took all those things into consideration, and we came up with the 10 best. So if you're looking to be one with the land, this list is for you. In no particular order, this is what we found. Number 10, Michigan. If you're one of those people that think Michigan is just Detroit and Flint, I'm here to tell you it's not. Michigan is a beautiful state. Detroit and Flint aren't the best, but every state has cities like that. Maybe not as bad as those two, but you get the idea. Michigan is a great place for homesteaders, and a lot of homesteaders are there right now. The soil is fertile, making it a great place to grow crops during their short part of the year where you can grow crops. But Lake Michigan, ponds, creeks, rivers, everything they got there provides the ability to fish for trout, salmon, pretty much all year round. Well, you know, different seasons for different...
Oh my gosh. I'm going to go downstairs now and piss my missus off completely because all I'm going to talk about is having a homestead again. She would love one as well. The whole family would, to be fair, but I just talk about it the most. I constantly save properties for sale. I've got a notepad that I constantly dream up things in here.
Different fish, but you know what I mean. There are many homesteaders in Michigan, so you're sure to find many people just like you. Most of the people that live in Michigan love it there, even though they got a higher cost of living, and the state's kind of strict on who's moving in and stuff like that, so make sure you kind of check out all the laws about homesteading in Michigan before you actually make that jump. Michigan's about middle of the road when it comes to taxes. They're not terrible, but they're not the best, and their homeschooling laws are kind of weird, so definitely check into those. Number 9, Wyoming. We've been talking about the cowboy state fairly often these days. We've been doing a lot of videos, and
We did a video the other day why nobody lives in Wyoming, or why everyone's leaving Wyoming or something.
Wyoming's always there. Wyoming's not a bad place to call home, whether it's on or off the grid. In the last video, we talked about how Wyoming is the 10th largest state and has the absolute fewest residents. Yeah, there's not a lot of people living here, and there is a ton of open land. Wyoming also has a very low cost of living and a lot of land for raising animals and farming. The cowboy state is one of the cheaper states to buy land in, and it has no state income tax, so it's pretty cheap all around. People here enjoy incredibly low property taxes and relaxed homeschooling rules, and a lot of sunshine, which is great for solar power. They also...
Sorry to interrupt again. Here in Slovakia, because when we first moved here, we were thinking about homeschooling the kids so that we could do a bit more traveling and stuff, but you cannot do it in Slovakia unless you have a master's degree, and then even then you need to still get permission. So it is really hard to homeschool here in Slovakia, which is a shame because that's something we've always wanted to do so we could travel a bit more, but
are considered one of the windiest states in the country, so that's great for wind power. Throw yourself up a turbine and don't worry about anything. Now, a couple reasons not to is they don't get as much rain as a farmer would like, and they do get wildfires, which can be pretty scary and destroy all your crops. Number 8, Arkansas. Arkansas has a lot of things that would make you not want to move here. They also have a lot of cities and towns that really blow. The good news is, if you're homesteading, your time in the cities and towns will be limited, and that's a plus. Arkansas has a lot to offer, though, when it comes to homesteading. The state offers an unlimited homestead exemption, decent farmland costs, low cost of living, long growing season, plenty of water, and natural resources. They also have very relaxed homeschooling rules. It is hard to beat Arkansas when it comes to land. It's just beautiful. It's great here. But the natural state doesn't go light on sales or income.
I'm making mental notes so I can go Google properties and stuff after this is done. I told you, I'm obsessed with this sort of
tax. There aren't any tax credits for green energy that I could find, I should say. I didn't find any, and I've been looking at their page. Poverty is at an epidemic level in parts of the state, and the educational system isn't ideal. But, like I said, if you're truly homesteading, these things probably won't be a big deal, and if you just stay on your farm and live the life you want to live as a homesteader, this is a great place to do it. Number 7, Iowa. Iowa is known for farming and boredom. So on the surface, it sounds perfect for homesteading. Iowa has an overall low cost of living, and seeing that homesteaders rarely pull in six-figure incomes, this is key. The Hawkeye State is a big farming state with a lot of open land that is considered reasonable. I mean, it's not the cheapest of all the farming type places, but it's decent. Chances are your neighbors will be farmers of different levels. There's all kinds of tax credits and stuff. Iowa has a 100% homestead exemption for up to 40 acres of rural land. They have low property taxes, very relaxed homeschooling laws, a solar credit for up to $5,000, and a family farm tax credit. Reasons you might not want to choose Iowa? They get a lot of flooding all the time. Flooding seems to be very big with them, and they get their share of tornadoes. Number 6, Oregon. Once you get past the chaos, which is Portland, you get to realize why Oregon is one of the best states we have for nature lovers. Actually, for anyone. Oregon's a great state other than the chaos we get with all our whatever. I don't even want to get into it. I'm so done with it. We have it all. Deserts, forests, rivers, endless creeks, lakes that look like they were made for movies, and a beautiful coastline. There's about 30,000 small farms and homesteads in the Beaver State. Oregon has no state sales tax, average property taxes, plenty of water, and not a whole lot of natural disasters. We don't get tornadoes, blizzards, hurricanes, or big earthquakes. We get little tremors occasionally, but you never feel them. They just tell us we had them. We get occasional flooding and wildfires, and that's about it. They have green energy tax rebates, all that good stuff. But the downsides are Oregon has a very high state income tax, and it may rain a little too much for some people. So keep those things in mind. Number 5, Indiana. Most of the state is farmland, and a lot of those are homesteading farms. The southern half of the Hoosier state is made for homesteading. It has fewer people and a longer growing season for your crops. Indiana is known as one of the best states to farm and to garden. They have relaxed homeschool laws and a low state income tax, which is always good when you're trying to homestead. This is a great state to raise a family and put down some long-term roots. The downside is they have a lot of farms, so finding affordable land might be challenging, so keep that in mind. They also get tornadoes, flooding, and Indiana has a high sales tax. But you can homestead here, and the people are decent. These are good people in Indiana. Most of them. Stay out of Indianapolis and you should be okay. Number 4, Missouri. Missouri is a very homestead-friendly state. You know, they should be. That's kind of how they got their start. The Show Me State has a lot of different areas that are good for homesteading farms. And you get all 4 seasons here, so that's kind of cool. The winters can get a little harsh occasionally, but there are far worse states in this part of the country when it comes to bad winters. They have a long growing season, and they get about 40 inches of rain a year, which, you know, should mean your crops will be pretty good. They have relaxed homeschooling laws and solar incentives, so that's good. Unfortunately, Missouri has a high state income tax and farmland costs. It is also prone to natural disasters like tornadoes and flooding, all that good stuff.
What is that run? Is that like a castle run or something?
A couple of nuclear power plants, which, you know, really don't do good for your crops if something goes wrong. But I mean, hey, who doesn't enjoy glow-in-the-dark corn? I know I do. Number 3, North Carolina. North Carolina has a lot of farms. If you're not from this part of the country, you probably don't think of North Carolina as being big into farming like Iowa, Nebraska, or Kansas. But they are. They also have a good amount of homesteaders throughout the state, but a majority these days are finding the western section of the state, as you get into the hills, as an ideal place to be a homesteader. Homesteading in North Carolina is popular because of the land, the homestead declaration, rebate on green energy, low property taxes, and a long growing season. The cost of land here is kind of high. You know, it's a popular long grow.
Look at that. Look at the leaves. That is beautiful. I say it all the time. I'm not a fan of the cold, but autumn is my favorite time of year because of the leaves changing and that is beautiful.
Season. The cost of land here is kind of high. You know, it's a popular place, so it's going to be like that. And they're kind of tight asses when it comes to homeschooling your kids, so be prepared for that. Probably better for homesteaders that don't have kids. Number 2, Virginia. Virginia is one of the best states for farming and growing your own food. I guess it's also a good place to get away from meat. For some reason, I have like 3 ex-girlfriends that live in Virginia now. That's weird. I don't know why. Virginia is a lot like North Carolina when it comes to land and prices. The land is great, but it's going to cost you. The overall cost of living is high as well. Homeschooling laws are, you know, pretty strict, just like North Carolina. And the state is prone to natural disasters like hurricanes and flooding. But Virginia is also a great state for homesteading. They get plenty of rain, low property taxes, moderate sales tax, and they also have that program where you could like sell electricity back to the electric company, I guess. Yeah, you'd get enough solar panels, you could do that. But Virginia, for all its different problems with cost and all that other stuff, it is becoming a very, very popular state for homesteaders. When people are Googling homesteading, it's always one of the top 3 states they're looking at. It's really weird. Very popular. All right, before we get to number 1, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Also, I'll leave some links to other videos that are similar to this one in the comment section below. So if you like this, click on one of those. Check out places where you can get cheap land. All right, on to number 1. And number 1, Idaho. People have been making their way to the gem state at an increased pace for the last decade or so. And it's not just homesteaders. People from all walks of life are putting down roots in Idaho. About 16% of the population in Idaho lives on farms. They're farmers. If you're a homesteader, that's great news. You'll probably have something in common with your neighbors. Idaho has a low cost of living, multiple tax incentives for green energy, low cost land, relaxed homeschooling laws, and property tax exemptions. The people of Idaho have a reputation of being very neighborly unless you're from California. My advice is, if asked where you're coming from when you move there, just say prison. They will take that better than California. But be aware they do have really harsh winters sometimes, occasional flooding, wildfires, earthquakes, and they do have some high taxes. And like I said, they got a lot of people moving in there, and this has kind of started pushing land values up higher and higher. So the sooner you make that jump to homestead in Idaho, the better off you'll be. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it.
I did really enjoy that, actually. I was surprised like Alabama wasn't on there, because from what I've seen, at least on YouTube, that family, they've got a beautiful little homestead. I suppose there's homesteading everywhere, isn't it? These are just the top 10 best. I don't know. I'm so jealous. I'm gonna go Google stuff now and have a look around, because I think it will always be a dream of mine to live that sort of lifestyle, because I've mentioned it hundreds of times on this channel. I'm not a city person. I'm not a city boy in the least. I grew up hunting and fishing and doing things that boys should do the way out. In my opinion, please don't hate me for that. And my son loves that sort of stuff as well. It's just we're so limited here. I've tried all summer again to sort out this fishing license so we could go fishing in the lakes here. And yeah, I'm still running into a dead end. It's going to be easier for when we go to Croatia. I'll be able to fish there a lot easier than it is here. The bureaucracy here in Slovakia is something to get your head around. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Thank you all again for the birthday wishes yesterday. I tell you what, I'm still grinning from them now. Have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.